Now, the rest of the story.
Alright, welcome back to the rest of the story. A whole lot of a little bit of everything's been going on. As in, hay has been made, corn fodder has been rolled up too. And what we're currently doing is we're getting this hay that I made the other night stacked in the machine shed here because it's some really nice stuff. I mean, this stuff is never been rained on since I cut it. I mean, it has gotten zero rain, and honestly, it's cold to the touch. It's not heating, it's not sweating. It was cut, tedded, raked, and baled. And for how this fall went for us this year, that's quite the feat. So what we're actually going to be doing is we need the bale carrier because we're done combining beans. Done. I don't have any footage of it. Whatever footage I posted the other day is all I have. But while I was in the process of, well, it's pretty much been everybody, there's plenty to do. I mean, do something if you're not busy. So that is really what has been going on around here. Dad and Ryan, when they were when they were cutting beans, I was generally trying to make hay. And last night, once I got done doing everything I was doing up here, I got everything ready to go. I actually had Hannah go out and rake our corn fodder for us. I had to give her a little bit of a quick lesson on how to rake and how to run the 76 again, but she did a really good job. I'm pretty happy with what she did. And what ended up happening is once we got done with Dad's soybeans, or Dad got done cutting his beans, I came up, hooked onto the bean head at about 7:30 last night. I went across the road and cut my beans, and Ryan went out and he started making corn fodder. Problem is, this is why we can't have nice things. Ryan broke stuff. So there's a side shield that goes on here, and this is sitting out here because I got to clean this machine off, but there's a panel here that helps deflect the material into the pickup. And if you can see over here, just be better if I go around the machine altogether. This baler needs some TLC. We got about 200 bales to put through it yet, corn fodder wise. Didn't put the shield back on. So this shield should have been on regardless because there's nothing wrong with this side. But this shield up here, that's actually what he broke on the other side. It helps kind of pull the material in. Doesn't really seem like much, but when you don't have it and you go and are trying to bale anything, you do actually leave a little bit of a mini windrow out the side of the machine, because when you're picking up this corn fodder, it's full windrows, it's full width of the pickup. And what happens is, if there's nothing really here to hold the material in, it comes up around on these teeth and it kind of throws it out the side. Not that big of a deal. We got 96 bales off of just under 20 acres. I think it was like 17 acres or so that we ended up baling up. He baled until about 12:30, and they're called for rain. We did get the rain, but you dig down, basically just scratch the surface and the moisture is gone. I mean, the ground is still cracked up, and this rain that we were supposed to get today, up to this point, really hasn't slowed us down. The baler, to get done for at least this fall, it needs to be put in the machine shed and gone through this winter, but the baler needs some new chains. I threw this one off, if you can tell. It is pretty well shook. What happened is I got a sprocket I got to replace. I might as well just go ahead and replace them both, to be honest with you. I threw this chain off up here, but pretty much self-explanatory as to why it did it, because there is no tension on it. That spring is not tensioned at all. So I actually prefer to run it right around here, so at least there's enough tension on it so it doesn't jump off. Well, I hate to tell you guys this, but I didn't get back to the rest of my video. So what I'm actually doing here, this is me trying to catch up with Hannah early on in the day. She did a really good job as far as running the rig, running the 76. She earlier on was actually running the 76 and the bale wagon for me, pulling in those hay bales that you saw at the beginning of the video. I only made 18 or 19 the other night, which is mainly just waterways and some pasture grass, but I hate to say it, but that's like the best material I made all year. All of Ryan's stuff, he had 70 bales. I really can't scoff at that. That stuff actually was really nice too for what it was. I mean, yeah, it's grass, yada yada yada. Cows will eat it. Cows almost seem like they prefer grass over like beautiful alfalfa. So we're feeding beef cows, not dairy. And this rhino rake, as with all this rhino stuff, I mean, this stuff is built really heavy. It works great. You can see I have the rake. Maybe you can't tell, but the rake is actually opened up all the way as far as the wings, the width. They're opened up at their full extension, and then the back of the rake is actually spread out all the way. You saw me or heard me say earlier on, yeah, the windrows are full width. That's why the rake is widened out like this. I like that you can actually adjust on the fly how wide you want the windrows. When you're in lighter hay material, not corn fodder, lighter hay, I was going and raking Ryan's hay the other day. I was actively adjusting the back of the rake because I wanted all the windrows to be pretty well tight up together, as far as I'm not, because the last thing you want, if it's light hay, you get actually a void in the center and you get two piles of hay on the outside if you don't narrow that up to make it one solid windrow. That doesn't seem like that big of a deal, but it is if you're trying to make uniform bales, and it can just be a nightmare trying to rake that. So Hannah actually was a pretty big help here the last couple days. I don't have any more footage than with this of her, so this is pretty much Hannah helping us out. The 7600 running like a champ as always. Awesome tractor, but beautiful sun, beautiful sky. We skidded into finish as far as being done with beans. I went back up the next morning. I rolled up the last like 60 bales of fodder, and we're actually sitting really good for what we had to do up to this point. Waiting for it to dry out, and we'll be ready to rock and roll again. I'm going to go through the combine, get that greased and cleaned out, change the air filters, check all the oils, clean the cab out, and have it ready to rock and roll for going into corn, because the next couple days here, when it does start to dry out, we're going to spin around, go through all of our different corn fields and get a moisture test on everything just to see where we can potentially start combining corn again. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it, guys. Stay tuned for tomorrow night. Bye.